What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Days with Wade. This is a bit random of a video, just driving in the car. I was on a Discord call with my friend last night, and we were just talking about YouTube and how to grow our channels, and he was talking about just doing a daily quick video. And I thought, you know what, I can't do that. I've got a full-time job and it's very stressful, and I can only film on the weekends because we have this idea that making these videos, there needs to be a lot of editing and quick cuts and an awesome background and just all this production value into it. And I see so many people online who are just posting videos on their phone, and I just thought, you know, I want to do that too. It's just about letting go of the fact that everything has to be perfect before you start something. As you can see now, I'm in my first car that I've ever bought. I'm not driving a flash car at all. You know, I've got pins holding up the roof. This car is probably, over 20 years old, coming up to 20 years old, and it's my first car I've ever had. So I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to make the excuse that I don't have time to make a video, and I'm just going to chuck it on and upload. I'm driving to work, I know the route, so let's just have a quick chat about life. So some of you guys might be already familiar with my content. Currently I'm just doing a lot of recipes at the moment, particularly Mediterranean food, and particularly foods that are consistent with the Greek Orthodox fasting, which is essentially vegan. And I know a lot of people might be like, oh, it's vegan, no, I can't do that. And that was my initial reaction. Oh, I can't give up my gains, you know? I can't give up my muscle and my protein and just be a vegan. But the thing is, like, with the Orthodox fasting, that there's only, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but there's only about 3 pretty big fasts. There's the Lent fast, there's one that's in, I think, around August or September, and then you have the big Christmas fast. And for the rest of the year, you're fasting on Wednesday and Friday. And don't confuse this with the time-restricted eating as intermittent fasting. This is like a religious practice of fasting and going without. And, you know, at first I rejected the idea of that, of pushing myself and going without. But it all made sense. If you've done a bit of intermittent fasting yourself, you know that it's definitely a challenge, and it makes you aware of how often we're always pursuing pleasure. You're like, oh, what's something nice that I can eat? Well, let's open the fridge and and it might be healthy. It might be like, oh, there's some watermelon, or but at the end of the day, you're chasing that dopamine, and it makes you really aware that that you're doing that, even though you're doing good, you're eating healthy. So right now I'm not a fully Orthodox Christian. I'm currently a catechumen, which means you're essentially just learning about the faith, and you haven't been baptized yet. So my wife, she's 37 weeks pregnant, so she's about to go any minute now, which is awesome. But I was speaking to my spiritual father, and he just said that he might be able to marry us and baptize myself and my boy all in the same day. I just thought that's such a spectacular thing. So I'm waiting out for that. It might be in around June or July of this year. But in the meantime, I'm just working on a lot of recipes. and a lot of these recipes they're Mediterranean, so they're delicious. They're so good for you, and they're in accordance with the faith. And when I say vegan, it's not essentially all vegan. You can have shellfish. You can essentially eat things that don't have that don't have blood. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but so things like shellfish, prawns, mussels, oysters. So you could technically just eat that all day. So there's a lot of protein in that. Obviously the seafood is quite expensive, but I think the logic behind it was back in the day, and it's so fun. It sounds so funny now, but back in the day, all those sort of clams and things were just really easy to get. It wasn't considered like a very it wasn't luxury. And it's funny how it's kind of the opposite now. Like if you're eating clams for dinner, it's like, oh, this is quite if you're having lobster, it's like, I'm killing it right now. This is great. But so that's the idea behind it. And I was at church. It's funny, I was talking to one of the guys there, and he said he was going to get a boat and just do crayfishing and just for Lent, to help him with his fasts. I thought that's such a good idea. But so that's what's going on with my channel at the moment. I'm really enjoying this Greek Orthodox journey process that I'm on. Journey sounds a bit corny, but and just learning about the faith. I was originally going into the Roman Catholic faith, but I ended up pulling away from that. And on the day that I was baptized, I went to the Greek Orthodox Church instead. And I'll tell you why. So my wife, she was in a previous marriage, and essentially with the Roman Catholics, they wanted us to undergo this annulment procedure, and it just sounded really invasive. So essentially they were going to contact everyone involved in the marriage and almost like interview everyone and place a judgment on whether the marriage was valid or not. And they're going to interview everyone, and it's going to take around a year. And so, and this was probably start of last year that I was going through this, and it was just very traumatic for us. We wanted to get married straight away. I proposed on Christmas Day, and at the time I was 31. So 31, no kids. You just want to, at that point, once I'm so fortunate to have met my wife, and I honestly believe that God had a hand in that. It's just so obvious, and that's the story for another time if you guys are interested. But it was divine intervention that we met. And I just refused to believe that God wanted us to go through this, and it was it was causing a lot of pain in the relationship at that time, because essentially I was told that if I don't undergo this annulment, I'll be sitting on the front bench every day at Mass for the rest of my life and be excluded from receiving the Holy Communion. And I just had visions of myself, because I was never going to leave my wife. I have visions of myself 60, 70, all grey, and just haven't had Holy Communion and just lived in sin for the rest of my life. And I just thought, you know what, this just doesn't seem right. Like, in today's life and society, it happens. People get together, they get married, and then they realize for one reason or another, and I'm not judging anyone out there, you're not meant for each other, and you've got to do what's right for you. So I was struggling with this. I was like, oh my gosh, my baptism's coming up, and I'm going to be excluded for the rest of my life. This is horrible. And so I told my brother about this, and he just so happened at the same time we're both growing up atheists, not much, no religious influence. We went to a private school that was a Baptist school, more of a Protestant kind of school. So that was our only real exposure. But it's just funny how we both started going to church around the same time. I went to my local Catholic church, and he went to the closest church, which I think happened to be a Greek Orthodox church. And so he was just kind of telling me, Wade, you need to come and join this church. This church is the best. And I just thought, yeah. Because I spoke to my father at the Roman Catholic Church, and he said, like, they are a legitimate church. Because in the RCIA, he was going on about Protestants aren't legit and all the rest of it. But I said, oh, well, what do you think about the Greek Orthodox Church? My brother's going there. He said, oh, that's legitimate, but they don't have all the answers. Or he said something like that. So I just thought, nah, I think I've made a good decision with this. But when I was going through this turmoil, I was like, no, let's give this a go. I'll call. His name's Father Emmanuel, by the way. So I call Father Emmanuel, and I'm just like, Father, this is the situation I'm in. And he's like, Wade, come to Divine Liturgy. Don't worry about. He's like, has she been divorced? Is she divorced? Is it done? I was like, yeah, it's all done. It's all done and dusted. He's like, doesn't matter. We don't. I don't know particularly why. Maybe they don't really recognize it. If it's civil, it's civil. It had nothing to do with the church, and that was always my thoughts as well. It's like if they weren't married in the church, well, it's got nothing to do with the church. It's a secular marriage. It's not. So anyway, so I go there, and it's the first few times I went there, it was very overwhelming. The smells, everyone's standing up. The singing was gorgeous, but I was the paintings, the icons that are everywhere, and I just thought, you know what, this is very next level. But I kept going, and it was on maybe the third or the fourth time it really just hit me. I was like, this place is the most gorgeous place that I've ever been. It just makes me feel incredible, and I just really started looking forward to it, and it really just provided me a safe haven to go to every week to feel, I can't put it in words, amazing, for lack of a better word. So I started going here, and I never looked back to the Roman Catholic Church, and as I've discovered more and more the fact that the Orthodox Church hasn't really changed anything, as opposed to the Roman Catholics with the Vatican II and everything else. But look, at the end of the day, it's funny, you talk to people in the church, and people love to go on and on about this sort of stuff, about how this religion did this and we don't do that, and it's just like, I think people, it's like that Bruce Lee quote. He's like pointing at the moon, and he's like, don't look at the finger because you'll miss the beauty of the moon. So people are looking at the finger, thinking the finger is what's you're meant to be looking at, when the finger is merely pointing to the moon. I hope that makes sense. I wish I could have just said that a bit better, but so at the end of the day, I think you just kind of got to go with your gut feeling with this. And because I was quite ignorant, probably back in 2022, I was asking one of the guys I used to work with, he's a Protestant, and I was like, what's the difference with all this stuff? And he's like, you just need to go to the churches and find out what works for you. And that's true with so many things in life. You just got to give it a try and have an open mind, and ultimately go on your gut feel, and that's pretty much it. So that was it's just a little video, nothing flashy, just in my car, driving to work, doing the old 9 to 5, not making excuses about I can't do this, I can't film a video, I can only do it on the weekends around work. Look, we can all make videos if we want, and I think it's important to nourish the creativity within you. I think that's people looking for their purpose, and this is just my 2 cents worth, but people looking for their purpose in life, it's one big help is to express yourself creatively, and that could be anything. You could be playing music, you could be playing a particular sport, you could be writing a novel, or whatever it is. You could be a scientist writing a paper, a PhD. You could be doing YouTube, talking to the camera. I think when we channel our inner creative energy, it's so deeply fulfilling, because I think a lot of people, and let me know if you're in the situation right now, you feel stuck. You're going to a job, a 9-to-5 job, and it just seems pointless. It's just like this weird game. It's like this repetitive process that never ends. Like, I'm in sales, and it's just a competition out there. You know, they're stealing our business, we've got to steal their business. It just never ends. And it's like, what is this my purpose in life? I feel like I'm a caged lion in a circus jumping through flaming hoops. This is just my, and that's the thing. As a man, as I said, I got a wife and a baby on the way. I'll take that sacrifice and I'll suck it up and I'll have that burden. I'll do it for the family. But man, if you can somehow find a way to make a living, and not even get rich. I'm not even talking about, a lot of people online they want to fly around in private jets and do all this. Like that to me is not desirable. What's desirable to me is waking up every morning and working on something creative that you're passionate in, and it gives you energy. Like some of the videos, if you check it out, I'm making mussels with white wine and roasted fennel, and that just gets me excited. I made a vegetable korma Christmas Day, or Christmas Boxing Day, just gone, and I was so full from all the food. I'm just lying on the couch like, I just want to go have a nap. And then we were talking about what we're going to have for dinner, and I was just like, I might just make a vegetable korma. Just Google a recipe, and I can't tell you the excitement. It gave me energy. It got me off the couch. It was like drinking, a couple of Red Bulls without the jitteriness. It was just natural, pure passion and energy. And I think if you're stuck in a 9-to-5, I don't have the answer for you, by the way. If you're in a 9-to-5 and you feel like your life's meaningless, comment below. Let me know your situation. I don't have the answer for you, and anyone who tells you that they do is just talking out of their bum. But being creative will help you. Finding something creative, and you don't have to be the best in the world at it. Right now, I'm relearning acoustic guitar. I started in 2020, and I got okay. I was still beginner, but I just dropped it. And I've picked it up again this year, but it's very humbling because I've got to relearn all the things that I had already learnt. But I would like to get to a stage where I can write a song and play a song and sing while playing. And that to me is just, that's gonna make it, that's gonna help a lot. If you can fulfill yourself creatively, and you can get paid to do it. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, there's people out there right now who wake up in the morning and they pick up their guitar and they play a few chords. Oh, this chord sounds good with this chord, and this strumming pattern here sounds really good too. Oh, sweet. Oh, I've got a nice little riff going. Oh, I've just gone through a breakup, so I'm gonna just write a little bit about that and express myself there, and then I'm gonna put the words together, and all of a sudden I've got a song. Oh, great! you know, I'm going to go play at a gig at a pub, or, you know, a bust on the side of the road, and, you know, eventually get to the stage where you're making Spotify songs and you're getting paid, and that's your life. There's people out there living this creative life, and it's just very fulfilling. I have a lot of respect for the artist, and in whatever you're doing. It could be a professional athlete. How many people go against conventional wisdom? And, you know, you could be like a professional soccer player or something, right? You know, Jimmy, this is the parents. I'm playing the parents. Jimmy, you've missed the team this year. I think it's time for you to... You can keep playing soccer, keep trying, but, you know, I think it's time for you to get a warehouse job. And you can still play on the weekends, you know? You can still... And if you get in, that's good, but I think it's really time to... You know, you've had a few failures, and I think it's time to get a warehouse job. Just packing boxes, you know, just earn some money in your spare time. There's people who go against conventional wisdom. They're like, no, I'm going to stick to this creative path, and I'm going to keep going. Like, I have such respect for those people. It's like the cliche guitarist, the musician who's like living in a small apartment, just getting by. They're so committed to this. I'm going to make this work, and I have so much respect for people who have such dedication to their creative endeavors. Anyway, guys, I've been rambling for 21 minutes. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I've got no expectations whatsoever. Guys, if you liked what I'm talking about, just to let you know, there is a like button there, and there's also a subscribe button there as well. But, you know, it's just there. I'm just letting you know. I'm not wanting to tell you how to live your life or anything like that, but just if you need it, they are there. They are right below this video. So yeah. So guys, thank you. If you made it this far, please drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're going through. You know, I know we're all probably in this together. We're living this cliche of working this soul-sucking job, because we're just, a lot of us probably feel stuck, and we're all quite vulnerable. But I mean, that's not to say, you know, it could always be worse. It could always be worse. I guess it's kind of like what Jordan Peterson said. He's like, no matter what you're going through, you could be going through the worst stuff in the whole world, but it can always get worse for you. So I guess we can all take a bit of solace, if that's the right word. It sounded like it was the right word in that statement. So I'm going to leave you guys with that, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Peace.